Today, I want to talk all about one of the biggest bugbears of all artists I speak to who are trying to grow an email list. And that is, how do I grow it quickly? And how do I grow it with different ideas, different incentives to get people following me on social media to sign up to my email list? If you haven't yet got an email list, the power of this is exponential. The ability for us to get into a potential collectors inbox and have them see the content we'd really love them to see the value of the beautiful things we're creating is so much better, so much higher than social media. Social media, we might have a 5 to 10% chance of somebody seeing a piece of content. When it comes to email, there's a 30 to 50% chance that they're going to see it and open it. So email marketing, so important, so valuable. It's been incredibly important for my business in creating repeat buyers. And today I just want to share with you three ideas, three general ways with some specific ideas within those three strategies of how you can grow your email list this year and start to be able to sell directly, share directly to those people who are really, really interested in you and your work. Okay, so now I'm going to take you through three ways, three strategies to grow your art collector list. So this is about boosting your email marketing power. The value of a client or potential client or customer on your email list versus social media, if they're just following you on social media, the chance of them buying from you on your email list is so much higher, and the chance of them buying from you over and over again exponentially higher. So very, very valuable. Right, so I'm going to go through the first strategy or idea. Now, one-time collector gift. I am talking about something really, really, I can't say no to. You've got to sign up. Okay, I'm not talking about 10% off your website. That's standard on my website. If you sign up to my subscriber list, my email list, you will get 10% off your first purchase. I'm talking about something that they're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm going to sign up. I may or may not use this, but I'm signing up anyway. So 1 week only. It's only available for 1 week. You're going to create a lot of urgency around subscribing to get this incentive, and then they'll only have a week to use it, right? So we want to incentivize joining your email list and hopefully incentivizing people who've been on the fence to purchase from you. So some ideas of what I mean here. 20%, 25% off any artwork, originals or prints. $150 studio credit towards any original artwork. $50 gift voucher on purchases over 100. Now, the second and third ones here are probably going to light people up more for a few reasons. The first being I feel psychologically that a value that people can really wrap their head around, i.e. $50, $150, makes them jump or take action quicker than a percentage because they kind of know what the number is. It's a tangible number. I'm getting this amount off. So I'd play around with this. You might try 25% off at the beginning of the year, and then you might do another week at the end of the year where you have a $150 voucher. Play around with it. You don't want to be doing this every month. You'll lose it will make everything feel a little less special, a little bit more cheap. You want to make these kind of strategies feel, oh gosh, I've really got to jump in right now. So you might try this maybe 2 or 3 times a year max in different ways, right? If you package it in a different way, it will feel different. So you can be clever about this, but having a tangible value dollar number on it can really make people jump in, I find, a bit quicker than a percentage. For my 40th birthday, I actually gave my existing subscribers a $40 voucher that they could use. I think it was just for 24 hours. And I had a few people jump in on that. And a lot of them spent over 150, even though they only had a $40 gift voucher. So that's the reason why I suggested 50 on purchases over 100, because you might immediately look at that and go, oh, I'm giving 50% off. I would probably put money on it that most people, unless you have a lot of prints for exactly $100, which I don't, mine's either 80 and then they go up to 160. I would put my money on it that most people will end up spending more than 100 if they take you up on this offer. And it's very, very, what's the word? Appealing, because they immediately go, oh my gosh, 50% off. I'm signing up. Even though I might not use it, but I'm signing up. So this is what we're trying to generate here. If you promote this, that people are like, oh yeah, this is a great deal. I'm in. I'm subscribing. which is the whole point of this. And then hopefully you get a little bit of traction around some sales as well if you do this well. Now, remember, like anything, if you're going to do this for a week, you need to really punch this message home. So you've got to be talking about this every day, if not twice a day, on your stories, reels, carousels. You need to promote this as if it's a launch, because you really want to be getting your goal might be, I want 100 subscribers, new subscribers this week. Well, if you want those 100 people, you've got to be posting this everywhere, community pages, all over your personal pages, all over your social media, wherever you can, you want to talk about it. Because when you're doing something like this in particular, not only are you potentially getting loads of new subscribers, you're potentially getting loads of sales that week as well. Yes, you're providing a discount, but you'll still be making profit. I would put my money on it. Well, assuming you're pricing your work according to your value, which is another topic completely. But if you're pricing your work well and you're valuing yourself well, you'll still make money with the strategy, even if you're making sales alongside getting the subscribers. And remember, even if you only make a small amount of profit, even if you have a few people going, I'm going to take the $50 gift voucher and spend exactly $100, and you might be making a little bit of profit on that. You have a buyer. Once you have one person buy from you, if they have a good experience, love what you sent them, and they're now on your email list, the chances of that person buying from you again goes through the roof percentage-wise. So think of this. Every person who signs up to your email list is a potential lifetime customer, not just a one-off. So we've got to think of these things in bigger terms. So remember, urgency, 1 week only. We really want to push people to take this. It's not part of your other standard offers. So if you have 10% off or $20 off your first purchase as a standard, you want to deactivate that for the week. Free shipping alone will not be a strong enough incentive to get people to just jump in. It's just not good enough. We need something really juicy for people to just be like, oh my gosh, I've got to make the most of this. So remember, this isn't about going, oh gosh, that's a lot. That's do it in relation to the pricing of your work. Very important. I put some numbers here that kind of relates to what I would offer comfortably because remember, the number one aim here is to get a bunch of new people on your email list, right? You've got to do some things every now and then that are bold and see if it works. Because I guarantee you, if you get 100 or 200 subscribers doing this, it's a pretty good result. And you're probably going to get some pretty good results so far as sales from those people in the following year. So you've got to see it like that. Okay, so number 2, strategy 2 is creating a free art buyer guide. Now, this will probably feel quite new and maybe completely foreign to most of the 3 strategies that I'm sharing today. 1 and 3 will be something you're familiar with. The second, this one here, will be a little bit more obscure, potentially. What I'm trying to get you to consider here is how you can create a thoughtful 3 to 5 page guide that addresses a real art buyer problem, question, hesitation. This is marketing 101. So whenever a marketing firm's like trying to figure out how to market to a particular group, they're trying to sell, I don't know, they're trying to sell a particular shoe. They're going to look at their target market who normally has, purchased these in the past. What is their hesitation around buying shoes? What are the problems that shoes that they have tried in the past have created that we're going to solve for them? What are we going to promote around that? Why do people buy them? Why do they like them? So they think about all these questions and hesitations, and not only the perks of what they're selling, but the hesitations of why people might not be buying it and how to get them over that line. So as artists, I think with marketing, we often want to just promote the fact that we think what we're doing is great. And, and I always talk about speaking positively about your art, but I think the next step really has to start to be, well, what will your art bring to them, to their lives? And so what this buyer guide is doing, you're not selling necessarily, but you're creating authority in the sense of saying, I create art, but I'm also going to show you how I can help you solve some problems around the hesitations you have filling that space in your wall, figuring out what colors work in this room. It could be a myriad of problems you're going to solve here. So you're going to use AI. A lot of you will moan, oh, AI. Yeah, if you're not using AI, you are missing out on some amazing time-saving and innovative tools that will help you create resources like this that you can personalize. Don't get me wrong, we've got to make these our own, but you can make this fast, really fast. And I'm going to show you how. So use ChatGPT to ask, and I'll show you how to do this. You can ask it literally, what are the 10 most common questions art buyers ask online when they're trying to figure out what art to buy? What's their biggest problems? And it will tell you, it will scan the internet and tell you the 10 most common questions that people Google, right? This is golden intel. This is when you are an artist wearing all the hats. This is like artists 10 years ago had no chance of this stuff. We have all of this here to just pull out and go, right, I'm going to create something amazing that's going to answer all the problems, and people are going to go, I need that guide. I'm going to sign up. So choose, ask the 10 questions. Look for themes, because this is a really good learning exercise for us. Choose one focus angle question to avoid overwhelm. We want to just choose one to start. If you get success with this or it doesn't work the first time, you'll try a different one. Create a clear, practical guide with actionable advice. Weave in your own artwork, personal insights, and collector experiences. Very important. Include visual examples of your work in real spaces and position it as a trusted collector resource, not a sales pitch. So creating a guide like this, and you could actually create a video guide, right? And I'll give you some examples of what I mean by that when I show you. I'm going to give you a dummy run of going through this process because I really want you to see how easy this is. But creating a guide like this is such a great way for people to get a bit of a feel of your personality, really go, gosh, I love her art, but she actually also really knows what she's talking about. And that helps potential buyers get more confident in the idea of purchasing, not only from you, but for the place in their home that they've just been umming and ahhing about forever. Some people literally stare at a blank wall going, I just don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. The amount of people I've spoken to like that is actually amazing. So this guy could really easily open up more conversation and get them to ask more from you, which could potentially also lead to sales. But remember, to get this guy, they're joining your email list. So number one perk of this process. Right, so I've put the prompts here that we're going to actually ask AI ChatGPT to create the guide with our prompts, with our input. This AI only works well if you are very clear on what you're wanting to create. So I'm going to show you how to do this. And later you can just grab this guide. The link will be in the comments if you want a copy of this guide. You can grab this guide and then make sure you can just copy and paste the prompts. So remember, we're trying to create something really focused. This doesn't have to be massive. We don't want it just full of words that people are going, what is this? We want it really pretty, photos of you with your art. It's absolutely an advertising opportunity for you, but we don't want this to be a buy my art. This is going to be about giving them something, you're helping them solve a problem, and that really will make them feel good about this particular freebie. And you will need to create an opt-in page for people to receive this guide. So how it works, and some of you watching this will be like, I just don't know what any of this means, and I understand that this is talking about this at this point we're talking to people who've kind of got their head around email marketing. I am going to be doing more videos on email marketing 101 basics soon, so keep an eye out for that and make sure you do subscribe, because I will or keep following, because I will be putting more up. But in the meantime, just so you understand how this works, you will need to create an opt-in page that you promote with the problem, and then people will say, yes, I want this. You would have done this online all the time. Yes, I want this guide. Email, name, please send me this guide, and you'll get an email straight to your inbox with the freebie. Okay, I'm going to take you over to ChatGPT now, and we're going to go through the process of making a guide. I'm not going to put it in Canva and pretty it up. That's a different process, but I want to show you how you can get the bones of a guide really quickly. So I'm going to take you through the process now of a conversation with ChatGPT to get it to spit out a great guide that I'm going to direct it on how to create. So I'm going to start by saying, can you please let me know what the 10 most common questions are let's reword this. What potential art buyers ask online thinking specifically around hesitations and questions about suitability in their home. A few spelling issues there, but it will know what I mean. So, here we go. Will it fit the space? We start to get some good questions popping up here. Will it fit the space? Will the colours work? Will my partner like it? You might not be able to solve that one. Is it worth the price? What if it doesn't look like the photo? What if I get it wrong? Okay, so I think the first two are some really obvious, great ones to start with, right? But what you can say is the other ones are probably not so helpful in the sense of how we can create a guide to help. But these are really, you can immediately start to think how you can create a guide about helping them figure out how to fit the space. And you don't need to know all the answers of, well, exactly the dimensions and guidelines, but you can ask ChatGPT to work with you around what is the general guidance across different design websites, architecture website, interior design, when it comes to these things, that you can help collate some guides. I'll just say numbers 1 and 2 are more aligned with creating a great 2 to 3 page guide. And actually I should have probably asked this at the very beginning. To be clear on the fact that I'm actually, what I'm trying to do here, what I'm trying to achieve, it will be better giving you the right information and trying to create a great freebie for people to jump on my art collector email list. So it's now starting to give me, you can actually roll with this, right? So it's actually now starting to give you a free guide top concept. Things, ideas of what you can call it, how you can structure it. So here you go. This is actually already giving you suggestions that it will be taking from the internet. So it's actually going to be giving you everything that you need around the specifics of what you would suggest. And you'll have your own ideas and your own things that you do that you can intertwine with this information. Like I say, you could just take this snippet here and then actually add some examples of you taping up a wall. That's an example there, step 2, tape out the size on the wall. You could actually have a video. You don't have to just have words. You could have a video of you talking through these things, right? It could be a video guide. That's very powerful because they get a real chance to know you, to meet you almost virtually. So you could actually talk them through these things. And when the idea of taping on the wall, which I recommend to a number of people, comes up, you can actually stand up against the wall to give people an idea, give them the measurement of the wall, do a taping based on a piece that you've got for sale, and show them how this works. So this is why this is very powerful, because it gives you a chance to really, without being able to meet these people, gives you a chance to actually find some way to interact or at least get them to know you a bit. So this is how good ChatGPT is if you ask it the right questions. And I do recommend just going back a step, and I'll update the guide on that. Being clear about what you're trying to create here. I'm trying to create a 2 to 3 page guide that people will love to join my email list, and I'm trying to solve a problem for an art collector. Now, you can ask, if you don't like these ideas, you can say, any other ideas for a problem I can solve for a potential art buyer like these. And it will probably spit out a few other ideas. Where should I hang it? How should I hang it? Hanging, how to hang your art, how to frame your art. Really simple problems, right? Don't complicate this. You don't need to create one PDF with all of these things in it. Sometimes having too much, you take away the impact. How to choose art that feels like me. Is this art an investment or decoration? Probably a little bit more, probably not as specific, so not as powerful. When you get really specific, it's very powerful, these things. How do I commission something without it being awkward? That's a good one if you're trying to look for commissions, putting something out there. Maybe not such a great join my email list incentive. I personally think that the four things that are really standing out to me here is just, and you'll go through your own process here and you'll probably come up with ideas just watching me do this, but the first one being, where are we? Jumping up to the start. Will it fit the space? Will the colors work in my home? So they're two completely different guides that you can create. It's created a bit of the bones for you here, and you can ask it to expand on any of these things. So you could be like, I like this. Can you just make this a bit more detailed? And it'll bring in more detail. And then you can just make it your own. Add your own photos, add a little video, add some notes about your own experiences or things you suggest in these situations. Will colors work with my home? And then, like I say, those last ideas. Where should you hang your art? How should you hang your art in your home? How do I choose art that feels like me? So these things can feel silly if you're an artist who understands these things, but for a lot of people who are just buying art, it's not obvious. So we're trying to help the person who really likes art but doesn't quite understand all these things in relation to buying and owning and hanging and bringing a piece of art into their home. We're helping to make this easier. So once you've got this information, you can literally take a template on Canva, which is what I use for everything I create, pretty much everything. And you can just choose these are all sorts of templates I use, but you can go to the templates and just go 3-page guide. And it will just bring up a whole heap of templates that you make your own, right? So some of these are free, some of these are paid. But my gosh, Canva is a great resource if you don't already have that. Highly recommend if you're going to start creating things like that. It will make it very easy for yourself. So I don't want to get too far down that line of creating it, but this is how easy it can be to start to create something like this. And like I say, you can create a PDF or a video version of it, or you create the PDF in a little 5-minute video to kind of talk about the things in it and introduce yourself. Also very powerful. And these are great. If you do it well and you name it well and you like I say, you're solving a problem, people will sign up. People will want to be on your list because they'll want this resource. Okay, I'm going to jump back to the workbook now. Okay, so hopefully you that open your eyes a little bit about what's possible. I'm going to just update these prompts so by the time you download this particular workbook, the prompts will be updated and you can grab these and go through that process yourself. Remember to make this your own. Many people are funny about AI because they feel like it's cheating. They feel like it's not authentic, but you can make everything authentic. Everything I do in AI, I tweak and I tell it to change and add this and do this. It's like having your own editing copywriter. Okay, think of it like that, and researcher. So please give this a go. It could be a really powerful tool to just have one of these always available on your website and something you can constantly promote throughout the year. So this guide is something that you can constantly have available. And if people really respond to it well, you'll want to talk about it all the time. Okay, so finally, strategy 3, which is something many of you who have worked with so far have tried, and maybe feel like this can be a bit hard in the sense of, is this incentive good enough? So we're talking about exclusive access, growing your list by offering priority and the privilege to get your work first. Now, this obviously becomes more powerful the more you sell and the more in demand you become. But access is limited to email subscribers and it's designed for serious collectors. So you really are saying with this particular strategy, and this always works really well, I find, if you've got a new collection coming. So I find this particular incentive works well now talking to new audiences. So going on Facebook community saying, hey, hey neighbors, I'm working on this particular collection. If you'd like to get first access first, look at this. Join my email list. I get really good uptake there. with posts like that. But what you're trying to pitch here is, and I've given you some examples here of what I'm talking about, early access to new collections. So people who subscribe to your list, and I do this pretty much every collection release, they will get the first chance to view and purchase 24 to 48 hours before the public. They get first chance option on original works. So you might actually have just selected pieces that you are offering privately. So you might have some pieces that you just put out on social media and be like, DM me if you'd like this, but you might have some really special pieces that you only offer to your subscribers. You don't have to do every release like this and feel, I think sometimes this can feel like quite a lot of work and effort to have this big hype, especially if you're not just doing one big collection a year or two big collections a year. You can just have a couple where you're like, these are my real hero pieces. These are amazing, and only my subscribers get this offered privately first. You can create a commission priority list. So if you get a lot of commissions, you can say, look, you've got to be on my email list to get the first chance to get these commission spots. And you can offer things like subscriber only previews. So you can offer extra insights, extra info. You might do a little series where you literally share how you do a particular technique. If you have something really unique and niche about your art, you might have a series where you get like an update from me once a month with a look at the materials I'm using and the exact colors of paint and how I'm actually composing this or crafting this or whatever it might be. So these things are a little bit more evergreen. So you can constantly offer these things and rotate them through your social medias, promoting join my email list for these reasons. Okay, so that's the same with the guide. You can constantly be talking about those reasons to join your email list and interchange it, talk about these different things with a call to action on your social media posts. You might say every 2 to 3 posts, you might talk about one of these, however you want to do it. The first one we talked about with regards to the special gift, that's a real urgency, really high value incentive. But I wanted to just maybe open your eyes a little bit more about different ways that you can be incentivizing people to jump on there and why they should, giving them a really good why. Like, why should I be on this list? I can just see you on Instagram. What is the perk of me being on this list? You might actually say, well, everyone on my list, whenever it's my birthday, I have a special sale for everybody on my list. You might say I have a sale a year and only people on my list get that sale access. I don't really recommend that unless you've got a really good list going yet. But, all these different ways to make them go, oh, I need to be on the list. We've got to really make this feel important. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. This is a really big part of growing a successful business, a really important part. So please put effort into this. It's something I wish I had done many years before I started. And the value of this email list that I have now and the money it's made me has been, it's been really, really valuable in comparison to social media alone. So please jump into it. It can feel a little bit uncomfortable to try these things to start, but it's so worth it once you get used to it. And as always, please let me know in the comments what you might be trying. And if you've tried something different recently that works, love to hear from you. Love to hear what that might be. And remember, if you would like the free copy of this guide with all the prompts to create your own PDF that we worked through today, look in the comments. There will be a link there for you to download that and keep that for whenever you might need it. All right, thanks so much. Remember to like and subscribe this video. I put out one of these every week. See you soon.